And welcome back once again to the Liberty Lounge podcast. I am joined on my left by Jared of Guns and Gadgets out there in California, string cheese himself. We love him. It's Anthony, the arms scholar. All right, am I wrong? The assembling of the Avengers has happened. Holy crap, y'all. I've got chills. I cannot believe how awesome this cabinet is turning out to be. Who are you most excited about?
There's a bunch, but the one I'm most excited about is probably the one who has the most difficult time ahead of him as far as getting confirmed by the
weird
Senate.
Hair guy.
Matt Gaetz for Attorney General will just eviscerate the DOJ from within.
I have thoughts on that, and we are going to get to that. I've got some specific thoughts on that. I love his hair. His eyebrows are weird. Anthony, who are you most excited about for this cabinet?
It's hard to pick. There's a lot of, Gaetz is obviously, I think he's a front runner. I agree with Jared. I think he's going to have a hard time. There's already a ton of resistance in Congress against him. I mean, the rhinos in Congress are chirping already. So that's going to be a hard one. I know some people are excited by Tulsi. That's an interesting one. RFK. I mean, I'm going to say it, Doge. I'm excited for Doge.
You like the Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency. I love that. Vivek, they're calling him Vivek now, and I've also heard Vivek, but I'm from the South, so I'm calling him Vivek. They are going to strip $1 trillion. I will believe it when I see it. My choice is Pete Hegseth. I think I am utterly, completely flabbergasted that in my lifetime, I've got a friend who's got We the People down his arm, but now the Secretary of Defense down his arm. Y'all have the same tattoo. How cool is that? But I think it is wild. He has an AR-15, but he has an M4 on his body. I think it is wild. And now he's in charge of the defense of this nation. I am blown away. And the cabinet's not even a third full yet.
Yeah. And the best part is Trump's not even in power and the ripples are taking effect. There are generals who are trying to sanitize everything right now and delete records, and everybody's worrying, am I going to get fired? Am I the woke one they're talking about?
It's awesome. Bureaucrats afraid again. And that's where we're at right now. While we're recording this, Javier from Argentina is meeting with Trump today, and he hung out with him and Elon last night. Yep. And the fact that those guys are getting together, the cross-pollination is amazing. Anthony, what's the tone out there? I know you're in Northern California, but what is the tone out there in the wake of the election?
I think my area is not surprised because we are in a very red area. I think it's interesting. The narrative from outside, I know a lot of people are looking at the map of California and seeing more counties than ever have gone red, it's interesting when you look at it. But if you've lived in California, I know you guys know this, a lot of California is red. Other than the coastal regions, the Bay Area and the LA county, some of the LA counties, those are all blue, but the rest is just ag and true blood, red Americans. We love America. We love freedom. We love Trump. So that it was just interesting to see those numbers, the way they played out. And I know a lot of people are now thinking about, what does California look like in the future? Is there going to be and a lot of states are facing that now. What does that look like? Is there going to be an interesting swing going forward? I'm excited. Everybody I know is excited for Trump for the next 4 years. I know everybody's excited for the economy. I'm excited for Doge to potentially get some of our money, not the Doge coin to get our money back, but just the cutting of a lot of that stuff. I think I'm excited. I hope a lot of people are optimistic about where we're heading.
I am completely thrilled. I have been pumping my fist on my channel all week long, and it just feels like we're headed in the right direction for the first time in a long time. The thing came out yesterday that you alluded to is that the Pentagon are scrambling, the brass are scrambling to delete their history of all that woke ideology and all that nonsense. Get that crap out of here and go defend our nation and defend the Constitution, which they are hired to do. I'll believe it. Again, I'll believe it when I see it, but I think at least the first rumblings of headed in the right direction are there, and I think people are excited.
Yeah, I mean, AOC herself removed her pronouns from her Twitter.
Yesterday, AOC, if y'all mentioned that, AOC has taken the pronouns off of her Twitter and has verbally said that she wants to discuss and dialogue with the MAGA folks. Now, she's an opportunistic whore. We know that, but I don't blame her.
Well, she's a bartender.
She's a bartender. Is she just jumping on the wagon because she knows this is the winning team and she wants to survive? And in Congress, which she's a member of Congress, everything comes down to which committee you're on. And is she just vying to have leadership and to be a part? I don't know. She went from 2 weeks ago being verbally told that maybe she is the next Speaker of the House, was told that by Tampon Tim Walz, to all of a sudden now she's having to remove her bios. I don't get them freaking bios out of there. Everybody, and not y'all, of course, we got a great audience here. You people are amazing, but I think the left needs to be afraid again. Jared, how real do you think this is? Do you think it's going to snowball, or do you think it's going to be same old crap as always?
No, I think the country, since COVID, the country's had enough. A lot of people were waking up, and just what happened in the last 3 months with Kamala Harris and the Donald Trump saga that was going on in front of everybody, people could see right through her and how she was just a puppet. She couldn't even answer questions, for crying out loud. So people knew that it was time for a change, that when they go to buy groceries, they can't feed their kids anymore. They can't afford the car they drive or the house they live in anymore. And you have to make a change, and sometimes you have to put your politics aside. I talked to five of my friends and family that are registered Democrats, and they voted for Donald Trump. So
really? So people are admitting it? Because I have a theory that I'm almost positive is correct, that a lot of people voted for Trump and will never admit it to anybody.
That's true, and that happened the first time he won. But you have people who are dyed blue Massachusetts Democrats who said, we can't continue this BS.
Anthony, tell me about the sex strike. How about that? The women that are going to show the right that they are going to.
No more Democratic babies. All those blue-haired people that no one wants to be with anyways are not going to be having sex.
Rate.
Yeah, the abortion rate
right?
Plummet.
So we're going to fix the abortion issue. We're going to fix the Democratic, and then we're just going to have more just conservative babies.
And we can spot them. Like I told an audience yesterday on the network that nature, those bright frogs down in the Amazon are like, stay away, I'm too bright colored. And they show us, and now they're shaving their head and wearing masks and putting on those blue bracelets.
It's going to be like the Borg.
It's so, it is so awesome that they're just going to tell us that they're freaking insane.
Yeah.
And they're going to show us, I ain't having no sex. Did y'all see this? Whoopi Goldberg says she's going on a sex strike.
Yeah. Okay. I think she's been on one anyway.
Unta solo. No sex for solo. Yeah.
Oh God.
She's a big freaking Jabba the Hutt and lesbian. And she said, I ain't having no sex with no cisgendered men. Okay. We'll take that deal.
Even drunk guys wouldn't take her.
No. I'd rather do a dude any day. That's a great question for the day for the guys out there. Would you rather do Whoopi Goldberg or a guy? Don't answer that, y'all. Don't answer that.
Have you guys found it interesting, like how the narrative, like after the election, with from the left, you've had the left, some parts of it like super dig in, like we're seeing with the blue haired, like sex strike stuff. And then you see the AOCs with those people who are potentially wanting to jump the fence. Like, it's been very interesting, especially right after like all the discussions on CNN, just blaming their own constituents, just blaming African American males and white women not getting out and voting enough. It's very interesting, some of the narrative, and I'm curious like how the Democratic Party is going to move forward. Are they just going to dig in as a party even deeper into that woke ideology that screwed them this time?
We were talking about this down at the Cigar Club the other night. Do the left, do they honestly know why they lost? And Justin said this the other night. He said that he thinks that some of those that are like really drink the Kool-Aid, because a lot of them are strategists. They know what's going on. Who was Bill Clinton's strategist that talk like this? James Carville.
Yes. James
Carville knows what's up. He is hired to do a job, and he knows what's up. But some of the ones that really drink the Kool-Aid, they will never go, this was our freaking fault. We ran Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton against this guy and gave him the White House. Both are unelectable, my opinion, but America feels the same. But some people who actually know, they understand completely, because they ran a moron. And because they know that, they're not going to dig in. I've expected maybe some bullcrap between now and January 20th, that they're going to enact one of the two amendments. I am now moving towards, they understand, they are tucking. Justin said this the other night, they're going to tuck tail and run, because they're not going to poke the bear anymore. They already have, and they're circling the wagons for 2028. Do they actually know why they lost?
Well, yeah, they know how they lost is where the other 30 million people go. Mm-hmm. Enough people turned out. We've been preaching for months. In fact, I was going around the country telling people, gun owners, come out, register to vote, get out there. Enough people came out that it was, to use, Trump's term, it was too big to rig. Enough people came out that they couldn't even cheat.
China.
Yeah. And they know, they absolutely know why they lost. They'll restructure that. You'll see that the Democrat Party will come a little more to the moderate side. They see that they've gone too far to the wokeness, and they'll regroup, and they'll try to find somebody who will pull more of their people to their side. Maybe, who knows? Maybe it is an AOC.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel the discussions I'm seeing is now like, are they going to run Gavin next time? But he's just Kamala in a male suit
with
Like,
with better hair. I don't think he's electable. I think he's got skeletons in the closet.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just interesting that you're already hearing that, and some of the people on the left are like, "Oh yeah, Gavin could win," and it will be a different election because theoretically, we're assuming it's going to be JD Vance is the front runner versus whoever the Democratic Party puts in front of him,
right.
Which would be a very. I think Vance would eat Gavin alive. Like Johnny said, too many skeletons in the closet. Like you get those two on. Oh my goodness, it would be interesting.
Well, just the demise of San Francisco. He can't say I can help your state when his is crumbling.
That is a ginger ale, by the way. That bottle looked like I'm drinking on set here. I am not drinking. I feel like I am when I'm hanging out with these two sometimes. We have a mutual friend, Jim, who is an 80-year-old veteran, and he said this the other day. What do you think about this? He said, we'll know by the 4th of July if J.D. Vance is the man.
I'd say he already is. The interviews that he did leading up to the election, the interview he did with Joe Rogan solidified that he is the next presidential nominee for the Republican Party.
How old is Trump?
He's turning 80, right?
Yeah, he's 78, I think.
I have a theory that J.D. Vance will be the next president and that Trump won't finish his first term. And that's not, I'm not talking about rifle shooting. He's old. He is. And I one time I said that he's a little overweight and a bunch of my audience got really mad. How dare you say something negative against MAGA man? He's a big boy. We know that he lives on Diet Coke and McDonald's, and that's a lot. And he's looked tired. I know he's vibrant. I get it. I know that he only sleeps 4 hours a day. I get it. He has more energy than all of us put together. I get it. But another 4 years after what he's been through, I don't know. It just wouldn't surprise me if an 80-year-old, we should have had the last 80-year-old step down 3 years ago. When he literally pooped his pants at the Vatican.
Yeah.
But is it too far-fetched to say JD may be it? And I wish good, healthy things on the entire Trump family.
If we were betting, I'd take the over on that. I mean, Trump just mentally, he's still with it.
Sharp, dude.
There's no chance unless something happens to him physically.
That's what I mean.
There's absolutely, I mean, like violently, there's no chance he doesn't fill out the 4 year zero. He has too much of his agenda he's trying to get done, and there's not a lot of time to do it. There's no way he steps down.
I wish goodness on him. I just think at his age, they can go down really quickly, and we've all seen people's lives.
You could.
I think there's no signs right now. Like there's nothing that's, I would say, overtly signals that there's decline. He's super sharp still. He's got a ton of energy. But I mean, with males in general, like you're one heart attack away, one stroke away from something like, and of course, all those risks increase as you get older. But I would say there's no signs. I think he's going to finish. I would take the over also. I think he'll finish his term. And I think with the JD thing, it really just depends on how much they let him loose. If they really let him loose and do the things that he can do. I mean, like Johnny said, they're putting together the Avengers. And I think Vance would be a awesome piece if they really just let him do some of the things that he wants. So
if they really, really wanted to stick it to the man, they could have. It's only happened once in history, but there is precedent for the whole Senate leadership that just came down to 3 ass clowns. They could have gave it to JD Vance. He could have done it. I mean, it happened once in history where the vice president served in that role as well. But, they decided to pick through the lesser of 3 anti-gun boobs. But I think the big question, if we want to game plan what happens 4 years down the road, who does JD Vance pick for his vice president when they run? I'm thinking DeSantis figures that's his best way in.
DeSantis comes on as VP for JD Vance. What the hell are you talking about, Jared?
DeSantis came out against Trump. That hurt him.
I think he doesn't run the next cycle. I think he waits it out. If Vance has a good, I think if Vance has
unelectable. I think, honest to goodness, when it came out that he wears high heel shoes, I think it made him unelectable. Nobody's going to vote and I think that I love what he's done in Florida. I freaking love Florida is America again. But he wears high heel boots, which is fine. Wear high heel boots, but on the national stage, that's a problem.
I don't know. I think if you're looking at fixing the country versus what people wear in their shoes is a different thing.
I'll say it. I think it's going to be Vance Tulsi. I'll call it now. I think Vance Tulsi. I think that would be the ticket that would get. Now it would depend on how these next years play out with them, but I think that's what they would try to sell, and it would get some of the votes back that maybe they're afraid of losing with Trump not running. So that's what I would pick. That would be my Nostradamus for that.
Tulsi's got quite the pooper on her too. I kind of like the way she looks.
He ain't lying.
All right, Jared, tell everybody where you're going next week.
I am going to Brownells, who is the sponsor of today's episode. I'm going down to Brownells. I'm going to build my first bolt gun, and they gave me the price list to choose from. And
is it going to be nice?
Bless y'all. Like, they've done too much for me. Thank you very much.
So they've got all the parts, and you're going there. So Brownells carries all the parts, and you're going to go there and assemble the dream gun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me and Caleb.
What caliber did you go with?
6.5 Creedmoor.
Creedmoor is the way to go. So big thank you to the folks out at Brownells. He's headed there. I'm not. Am I better about that? Just a little bit. But big thank you to those folks out in Grinnell, Iowa. I saw that Mr. Guns and Gear posted something the other day, and he's like, hey, I'm headed to Brownells to buy a gun. What should I buy? And he just asked his audience what to buy. I think that's awesome. Anthony, you jealous about this bolt rifle?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get a parts list. Maybe I need to hit up Caleb and them. Caleb, if you're watching this, where's my parts list?
I got jack crap.
I don't think that any of those parts are legal in California.
Yeah, I got a rock.
Wah, wah. Speaking of, Anthony saying, hey, Tulsi as VP, my first, and it was a blade that just went through my brain for a second. I know it's unrealistic, but I thought Lauren Boebert for like 4 seconds because I was such a believer in the day. I know that her star has fallen a little bit with a few odds and ends. I'm still glad she's in Congress. There's some problems there, but I really do think that is probably going to be a woman on the ticket, understandably. And I think the Tulsi thing is amazing. Does she have skeletons? And we know that she's good to go.
I will. Everybody who watches my channel knows I still have one bone to pick with her, is the fact that while she was a sitting member of Congress, she actively voted against the Second Amendment. I'll hold that against her until she actually addresses it. She said some things, but never addressed her voting record. But other than that, she has said the right things, done the right things. She still defends the country. I'm glad she's on our side. She just had voted against the Constitution a couple times.
So Donald Trump's executive orders were against the Constitution.
I understand, and everybody's willing to give Tulsi a second opportunity. I'm willing to give Donald Trump a second opportunity.
I've come around. Early in the cycle, I was pissed. We were sitting at this table one day, and I was really excited about RFK Jr. when he jumped in the mix. And I did my homework, and really, because I'm pissed at Trump over the bump stock thing and the take the guns first. We all know that. Take the guns first, due process second. But I'm at the point now, I went, and I think I said this on the last episode, I went and got some lunch stuff, and I left, and it was $177, and I was carrying my grocery bags in one hand. And I'm like, F this, get that guy in there. We need, Boss Lady said this the other day, we need a businessman to run the business of America. I am not just in, I am all the way in. Stood in line proudly to vote for him twice. But I was excited about RFK Jr. What'd you say?
3 times.
3 times?
Well,
so twice this election cycle.
Okay.
I've voted for Trump 6 times total. And there are people that can't figure that one out.
Yay!
Yeah. Civic. How does that work? Anthony, are you willing to forgive? Is it something we got? The choice is clear. America was going down the pooper in a DEI madness of inclusion. Well, the choice is clear. It's not even optional. America's back, baby. But what about there's people are messy. There's no clean. Yeah. Are you willing to forgive?
There is no perfect candidate. No candidate is going to align with any one person perfectly across the board on all policies. I think we were messaging right after the election, and I was telling you guys that I was going back and forth with some viewers about the Trump thing. They're like, oh my gosh, Trump, is so, anti-2A and all these things. And we're almost advocating for Kamala having a better track record policy-wise than Trump, which I found very, very interesting. We've all been very vocal about Trump and the bump stock stuff. Now, we all know that the bump stock thing specifically, if you're watching this and you're not aware, the bump stock thing was also a direct result of the NRA as a policy telling Trump it was okay to restrict bump stocks. The NRA gave him the okay of it. What?
The QAnon, don't chase it, Anthony. The QAnon guys are going to go crazy over us.
For DHS.
Yeah. So that was directly because of the NRA. Now, Trump has got to take. I don't think Trump is super in tune with like the 2A issue. He, of course, leans on other people. and we all know because we've been to events like the GOA event, and we've talked with people within the Trump camp behind scenes, over drinks and things like that, about that they are moving more towards actively listening to the 2A community, listening to organizations like GOA who understand these issues, and so that they don't make those mistakes going forward. And even with Trump and his track record, it's a give and take. We all know that, yes, the bump stock thing was horrible. It led to other agency overreach issues like pistol braces, XYZ. But Trump also, you got to give him the acknowledgement that he put in place Supreme Court justices who led to decisions like Bruin, who also led to decisions striking down that very rule that we're all criticizing, which is the cargo case and the bump stock stuff. So, was that what he had in mind when he put in place those justices? No, but we all knew that they align with a certain ideology, a certain foundational originalist textualist mentality that was going to lead to those pro 2A decisions. He put in place hundreds of pro 2A, pro originalist judges in circuit courts and district courts, who led to tons of awesome decisions. And so you have to. It's a give and take. Now with the Tulsi thing, it's yet to be seen. It really is yet to be seen. We know that she's making the rounds in our community, hanging out with people like Sons of Liberty and Staccato, and that's great to see. She's been going to like the tactical games and all that. And I do think the more you're exposed to this community, the more that bug takes hold, and you're never going back. I mean, I'd
like to be exposed to her dump truck.
It's a family show.
Oh, sorry. I'm the single man among us, so I can talk about Tulsi's dump truck. I like when I mentioned her butt the first time. Both of y'all went dead quiet. That's good advice. Married fellows out there, follow these two. Don't follow this guy. All right. Speaking of the ATF, and I love this so much. One of our very first episodes of the Liberty Lounge, we had our friend Brandon Herrera on here. We are personal friends and colleagues, and he is interesting in that he has a quite the track record in that he's done very professional stuff, but he's also a meme lord. And so he's kind of the best of both worlds, and he's a gun manufacturer. He has thrown his own cowboy hat into the ring as ATF director. And he said several things. He said within the first 100 days, he would cripple the agency. Now, that's probably not going to happen. I don't think that they would allow that big of a change. And he said then he would dismantle it and ask the government to ask Trump to dismantle the whole thing just for the alcohol part of that. That ain't going to happen, but I love it. He also said he was going to donate his entire salary to a no-kill animal shelter and save the dogs. But people are getting behind it, Jared. How do you feel?
It's a perfect pick if you ask me, and I had a back and forth with one of my viewers today about this. Their comment was like, why are we at a point where we're asking for YouTube people and news people to go into government? And my response, like every now and then I get a fiery response back to somebody. And I said, of the people, for the people, of the people, by the people, doesn't say you have to be a slimy scumbag attorney. You don't have to be a politician. Most people were farmers. We need changes, and nothing changes if nothing changes. And Brandon would be phenomenal there because he'd be the first director who is an FFL, understands the gun law and that the manufacturers have to face, all the hoops they have to jump through. And it's working because Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert are in his corner. So it's a good problem to have when you have people on the Hill saying that you are the one that they want in that position, because they're both, as you know, and Anthony knows, they're both friends with Trump. So if they're saying it publicly, they're also saying it behind closed doors.
It's interesting. I think it would be really cool. I talked to Brandon behind the scenes, and I told him, I'm rooting for you. I think we're all rooting for him. It would be cool. Just, I think, I don't know how you guys feel about this. After the election, and even leading up to the election, it's been really cool to have contacts with some of these guys who now are being put in positions within the administration and people behind the scenes who are directing a lot of the policies, and helping Trump and doing all. It's been really cool. And it's making me very excited for where we're going. And I think Brandon would just be the logical next. I guess maybe not logical. Maybe some people don't think it's logical, but I think it would be one of those really cool next steps, like Jared said, to have someone who's very in tune with the Second Amendment, with the firearms community, actually directing one of the departments whose main activities is to simply just step on our rights day in, day out. And I told Brandon behind the scenes, I was like, dude, I will file some of these lawsuits for you for free. Like I will do it for free. I will rescind some of these lawsuits for free. it's I don't know. I'm excited with any of these nominations. It would be hard. It would be. I don't know what you guys think. It would be interesting to see Brandon in front of some of these slimy rhinos or the Democrats trying to. Who knows what they would bring up. He's a host of a very popular podcast where they just talk shit all the time and say funny things, and
they
that's
would dig. They would dig.
Oh, yeah.
You have to be confirmed in front of Congress, and they would dig and find the greatest sound bites ever. Brandon is unapologetic.
Yeah.
And a little like Tony Hinchcliffe. Y'all saw Tony Hinchcliffe right before the election said that that Puerto Rico was full of garbage. All you have to do is type in the words to Google Puerto Rico garbage. It's literally overflowing with garbage. And he goes, apparently I'm the only one that knew that and nobody got the joke. And then he came out last week and said, I apologize to nobody. I don't apologize to the blacks. I don't apologize to the white, not even my own mother. Because he had made fun of his mom also. And I think Brandon is similar. And I think Brandon will stand behind. He just ran through, most folks know this, ran into a runoff for Texas's 22nd or 23rd? 23 congressional district. And he has been vetted. He has been vetted and he has had the skeletons looked at. All right, you two tell me. I need both of y'all to tell me, did I make a mistake? We were talking with the... He puts on is that a Levi's jacket? I can barely see the monitor right there. He puts on a Levi's jacket with his white. You got your smokes, your Marlboros rolled up in there. James Dean, eating string cheese and dropping bombs on Johnny B is what he's doing today. He's here to drop bombs and kick A. I like it. We were sitting down, hanging out with a friend of ours, and who wears a sweater. You know him, and he said this the other day, and he's really plugged in. Like he knows his crap. And for somebody from up north who has escaped and come to the South, he's plugged in. He knows what's up. Hardcore conservative. And he goes, and we're not talking about Brandon. We're just talking overall. He said nothing's going to change with the ATF. Nothing significant. There may be a little rule here or there. He said nothing will change. And that we have a track record of that's kind of how politics is. I opened with that same comment. Is anything really going to change, or is the snowman really going to go? Most of politicking is fake. There is an army. Tell me I'm wrong here. There is an army of congressmen and senators who are up for re-election in the next cycle, and they are going to bang the drum on Matt Gaetz over the next in January. They're going to vote. It's going to go through, and they're going to go nuts just so they can tell their constituents, look at what I did. And they did nothing. So there's a chance all of this posturing is going to crap. We're old. We've seen a bunch of nothing. He said that nothing's going to happen with ATF. And we bet a very expensive cigar. And he said he'll give me till the midterms, 2 years. And he said nothing significant is going to change. Who's going to win that bet?
You are.
I'm going to win that. I said there's going to be major change.
You should have bet more. You're going to win that.
You're going to win that. Yeah, hands down. First off, major change is actually having an FFL, if Brandon gets through, having an FFL as the director. That's a huge change because it's never happened before. That's actually their first in history. And how easy it would be if we do get a Gaetz and a Herrera combo, how easy it is to do major changes is Brandon says, all these rules we've changed, we're not enforcing that.
If Brandon gets in.
Right.
Even with Gaetz alone,
he can change all those. Yeah, he can
do all that. He can do all those lawsuits on his own.
Yeah, he can drop.
You can say, as the AG, we're no longer defending these lawsuits.
Done. Major change.
And I get the cigar. Mm-hmm. Y'all feel that good about it?
Well, that's what we've been sold, and that's what the country voted for. Trump not only won the electorate, but he won the popular vote. So he has proven change, and people he's ran on change. People are asking for change. Now he has to prove the change.
Y'all are making me feel really confident. Last March, the same guy bet me, and I'm not dating anybody. I am totally single. If your mom is available, let me know.
Tulsi's married.
Yeah, I know, but I can still dream. But if anybody's got a mom or an aunt or I'm available.
Grandma.
Bald hair with blue bracelet.
Yeah.
I hate you both on so many levels.
Missing teeth is okay. Gimpy leg, okay.
Yay.
The same guy. Golly, you two, y'all just got an extra chromosome is what y'all both did. Why don't y'all go buy a Canic?
Hey, Johnny, I've seen that picture.
The same guy bet me last March. He goes, I guarantee by the end of the year, you'll be married. And I was like, dude, and I was ready to roll. And plus that bet, I would have a, input on whether it actually happens or not. And I told him to stack $100 bills. He told me he was going to bet me $1,000 that I'd be married by Christmas or by the end of the year
of 2024.
Yeah, last year. And I wasn't dating anybody, nothing. And I'm like, no. But he didn't make the final bet. He didn't actually shake on it. And I could have got $1,000. You know how sweet that $1,000 would be,
especially now in Biden's economy. That's like 10,000.
That's like 10,000. All right, here to wrap this thing up, I want to circle back through. I said that they're going to posture. I said that they're going to bang the drum, but they know they're just being dramatic. Do y'all think there's going to be any real trouble between now and January 20th?
You mean like from the people in the streets type trouble or political trouble?
Yeah, either one. Will they have something up their sleeve that they're going to play? Are they going to try to pull out one of the amendments? Are they going to try to block? Are they going to try to? Will Kamala confirm the election? Is there anything major they're going to try to do, or will there be blood in the streets?
She'll confirm it on the 6th. There is a push, as you guys probably are aware of, that there's a call to have Biden step down and name her the president so they can have their little, day in the sunshine. And
I don't think Biden will do that. I think Jill wearing that red suit on election day was a big middle finger to Kamala.
Yeah, but I think that one of the biggest issues we have is Blinken yesterday said that basically, I'll summarize, we're going to spend every single dollar that we possibly can between now and January 20th. They're going to try to bankrupt this country so that when Trump puts his hand in the air, the first thing that happens is the economy has to crash because we spent so much money. They're definitely trying to do that. They came out and said it publicly yesterday.
Anthony, is there going to be trouble between now and January 20th?
I don't think the way that people would probably envision. Maybe I'm just hopeful enough that the left has gotten the message from the voters at large that we're done with their games and they will not try to pull out any more huge gamemanship like that, like trying to install Kamala before the transition or anything like that. I mean, I think naturally, like Jared said, they are going to try to line their pockets before their whole administration gets pushed out. And I think, like Johnny, you said, I think they're going to circle the wagons and maybe hopefully go back to whatever foundational ideas that their party is built on, whatever that is now. Who knows what, because they're chameleons or lizard people, whatever you want to call them. So, yeah, I don't think anything crazy. I don't think blood in the streets. If anything, maybe right after he's, sworn in, maybe right after.
Yeah.
And I saw some people discussing maybe the left at large is just kind of rioted out because they had in the lead up that whole phase about the Palestine and, you had all the kids rioting and protesting because of that stuff. And maybe they're just rioted out for a while, because I think if we were going to see a response, it would have been that day of the election. And I think they've lost steam and maybe they just lost enough people.
There's been a lot of individual riots and people shaving their heads. And my feed on Instagram, because I stop on everyone that's screaming into the phone, it starts showing me more and more and more. And I type the same 2 words, go cry. I type the same thing on everybody's, go cry, lib. So there was a lot of individual social media screaming and rioting, but there was more riots for the LA Dodgers winning than for Trump winning. And even though people, I think, were seriously more upset, the celebrities, and I'm going to give a prop to them, the celebrities that are actually leaving the country, I respect that they're actually putting their feet where their mouth are, because
who left?
Ava Longoria left, and Billie Eilish have also left.
Whoop-de.
Oh, I know. Like whoop-de-doo. So, stick your finger in a glass of water and pull it out. That's the hole they leave.
But Eva Longoria hasn't been a celebrity in 20 years.
I agree, but at least she's going through with it. So get the hell out of here. I love that they come to this country. Well, she's born here, but she's got talent, she's got phenomenal genetics, and she had a good run, whatever, but she made a boatload of money and then has to flee this country because it's so bad.
Yeah.
Billie Eilish is fleeing it because it's so bad, but at least she's doing it. Stephen King said he was going to throw himself into a wood chipper. Yeah, we're waiting.
Yeah.
Time's ticking,
Stephen. But a lot of them are leaving Twitter, which is hilarious also. And these folks The leftist talk, they believe the leftist talking points. They really believe Project 2025. They really believe that women's rights are ending. I had a friend of mine this morning said, well, it's a big battle because, women's rights are under. And I said, what? I said, name me one right that a woman doesn't have.
Zero.
And we talked about it. She goes, wait, what? I said, it's just a leftist talking point. Just like your viewer who said, well, they hired a TV host. That is straight from the DNC. And we all pick this stuff up. It's like sawdust that gets everywhere. And we have the sprinklings of communism that somehow even work into our language. And yeah, he is just a TV host. They are full of crap, but they also believe it.
Yeah, that's because, most people are busy and they would rather just get the information they think they need from one source and trust it instead of doing their own hard work and vetting stuff. That's how people get brainwashed.
We don't read articles anymore. We read the title. Anthony, do people really believe this Project 2025? They really believe that women's rights are under attack, and there is a serious group. There's people that have killed themselves, and not to make light of suicide and this kind of stuff. There's that one dude that killed his family and killed himself over Trump's election because he really believed Trump was going to put people in concentration camps. Anthony, people honestly, deeply believe what the media says.
Yeah, I think it's not as big of a group as I guess the left would hope, because the vote count would indicate that. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. I'm sure you guys saw a lot of this, of videos of people telling their children that Trump won, and the children crying, or them telling their young daughters like, "Oh, your rights, they're gone because of Trump," and the little girl's crying. It's like, what type of conversation are you having with your child where you're telling them like, your right to an abortion, your right, quote unquote, to an abortion is gone because of Trump? Like, and it's a young little child, a young girl, and you're telling her this, and she's crying over it, and you think that that's okay. Like, this brain virus has taken you over so much that you're having these strange conversations with your child, and oh yeah, by the way, filming it and then posting it. It's weird. It's a weird world that we're living in. And luckily, we had enough people in our nation reject that. And I think there's going to be some people on the left that just insulate themselves even more in that bubble, or just decide to give up the game and leave the U.S., which is fine. Go, see you. Nobody's going to miss you. But you'll have a little camp on the left that's going to dig in even deeper. You'll have members of Congress that try to dig in even deeper and keep pushing those narratives. But yeah, it's strange. And I think there definitely is still a group on the left that really, really believes that. And who knows what they're willing to do if they really believe that. I think we've all predicted that. I don't think that the attempts on Trump are going to end just because he got elected. I think you have people crazy enough on that side that are going to be willing to do something if they really believe that.
Last topic, RFK Jr. I think for me, what is amazing is he's going after seed oils. He's going after this garbage that's in our food. I love, for maybe the first time in a long time, we have leadership in this country, at least potential leadership. They are on paper supposed to be our leaders in January, that are saying do better. Like, instead of, it all used to be, because all of that woke, the DEI, all of that nonsense it's about nothing besides yes, you can be anything. You're a woman. Men can breastfeed. No, they can't. And now it's about do better. I think it's I think the RFK Jr. Health thing, pushing this country towards getting this garbage out of our food, I think may be one of the best things that we're looking at potentially.
Yeah, and he's got Democrats who are saying that they're behind him too. I mean, Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, was being investigated for being crooked too. But he came out yesterday on was it Good Morning America or whatever it was. But he said that he should get in. He doesn't agree with the fluoride side, but he does on the food and all the stuff and the hormones in the food and all that stuff. So, you got a lot of people who support things that he's been saying all along, and the fact that now he has the ability to actually do something about it, I'm really, really hopeful.
Anthony, you have been through quite the health journey in the last year. I was bragging on you yet. It kind of hurt me to do it, but I was bragging on you yesterday to a mutual friend of the three of ours. And I think you have done a lot of research about either called macros or whatever it is, about really what you put in your body. And step in the right direction. Is this a major thing? Because not a lot of people are as excited as I am about RFK Jr.
I think everybody's mixed. With the Trump administration at large, at least who's been nominated, I'm hopeful. I think there are people who think different enough that maybe we would get something unique rather than just business as usual. I mean, the memes have been great about the left's, director versus RFK and him doing push-ups and all that stuff. I know some people have mixed ideas or mixed feelings about his vaccine stances. I think he's completely on point when it comes to the COVID quote unquote vaccines, which they're not actually vaccines. And we just got demonetized. So, that's awesome. But I'm hopeful. We'll have to see how some of these things play out. If some of these people are actually, make it through the process. Now that we have the Senate and the House, and I don't see why any of these people, they should not. And any rhino who is pushing back against some of these appointments, we got to keep their names out there so everybody knows that those are the people that are interested in maintaining the status quo and that aren't on our side. I'm hopeful. I'm more generally optimistic now than I was probably right before the election.
I've been saying it all week that America is back. I feel like Peanut the squirrel pushed things over the limit on Peanut and Fred the raccoon. But on our election day show on here, we talked about that Peanut. I really believe Peanut was going to be a factor. I think Peanut, Joe Rogan, and Elon Musk that last week was a final push over the edge. People are freaking fed up. I believe that America is back, and until I have reason not to believe it, I am freaking optimistic. However y'all found us, we're glad you did. Get yourself subscribed, whether you're here on iTunes, YouTube, or
Spotify.
I'm Johnny. I'm supposed to be Johnny B. I don't even know what's going on around here. This is Jared, not the arm squad. I don't even know what's going on. Anthony, Jared, I'm Johnny B. We'll see y'all soon. Bye.